Good morning, 5WW. We are continuing today on our unit in coordinates. Now, who can tell me what we were doing in our last couple of lessons? That's right, Tara. We were using directional language to move around a room. Who remembers when I said go to the back left of the room? Can we have a quick recap? Can I get you to point to the back left of the room? That's right. Now who remembers our directions? Which way did we figure out north was? Well done, everyone. Alright, so which direction is the back of the room? That's right, southwest. So we're going to be building off all of that today with using coordinates in games. Alright, I've got a very fun lesson, so I'm going to need everyone to listen carefully, raise your hands when I ask, okay, and no scratching. So for this part of the lesson, I'm going to take us through a bit more information to make sure we're all on the same page about using our coordinates. So, what coordinates are what we use to find our way around a grid. So in this example here, we have our y-axis going from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and our x-axis going across. Okay, so when we want to find a space on a grid, like D3, we go across to D on our x-axis first, and then we go up to 3 on our y-axis. So the highlighted location there is D3 on our grid. Now if we want to take this further, we can start giving directions from where we are on the grid. So if we go across to the left 2 and up 1, where will we be located? That's right, Chris. We would be at B4. Okay. So we could use this in the same way to move around the room, couldn't we? So instead of going to the front of the room, I could say go to row 5. Okay? Or I could say the back of the door is located at E1. I've prepared some other real-world examples, such as chessboards, which we'll be playing with later on. So can anyone tell me where the white king is located? Thank you for raising your hand this time, Anara. That's right, the king is located at G1. Another example is, who has gone to the zoo? Yes, that's right. Unfortunately, they didn't make it back out of the cage. But let's not talk about what happened with Miss K's class. Okay. The parents were fine with it in the end. They said that they preferred the replacement. Okay, so if we wanted to explore the zoo and how could we tell our parents where we were going? That's right, we could use the grid supplied on this map. So you could start at the monkeys on Q12, and you could say, I'm going to meet you at the rhino at U4. To hand out the worksheets, okay? Now we're going to be using these for a very special game I've prepared for you. Okay, so we're going to be using this with our coordinate annotation. Remember, when we're writing coordinates, we go the horizontal axis first, and then the vertical axis in brackets with a little comma. I am only accepting answers that are written in the correct annotation. Now, who's not sure about that? About how to correctly annotate where something is on the grid. Alright, I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up. So, first thing, I want to see everyone's name on the top of this sheet because you will be handing these back to me so that I can check to make sure everyone's on the same page because you're going to need this when we move on to our final coding project. Okay. So, we're going to do a warm-up. I'm going to together and then we're going to move into some timed ones. We are going to find Wally. And we are going to find Wally by going to our... And once we've found him, we're going to annotate on our piece of paper that he is at D3. I expect everyone should have D, 3 written under slide 1. Excellent. Alright, this next one, Darren, settle down. I can wait. Okay. I'm going to set the timer for this one, and remember, no calling out, no pointing, this is individual work. Alrighty, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Park your pen and paper if you're done. Joel, can you still see from over there? You can come closer to the screen. There's plenty of room. You can bring a chair if you need to. Alright, everyone ready for the next round? Alright, bit more difficult, isn't it? Remember, we want to see the correct annotation. We don't want to just say Wally's over there or up in the corner. We want to use our grid coordinates to show and tell exactly where he is. Very good, well done class. And if I can just get the papers handed to the front, that will be wonderful. Alright, I think we've all got a pretty good idea of this, and I can see that everyone who's handing their sheets in is using the correct annotations for writing coordinates. Alright, let's look at playing some games that also use coordinates. Okay, you're going to have until lunchtime to play games with a partner. If you are talking too much or the noise level gets too high, I will be breaking you up and putting you with a new partner. Okay, you have a choice between either chess or battleship. I'll be walking around. If you need any help, just raise your hand. Are both you and Chris using grid coordinates when you're choosing your locations for chess? Okay, I want to see you say where you're moving your piece from and where you're moving it to. It's going to be particularly tricky with the horse because you're going to need to say where your horse is located, and you're going to have to figure out where it's going. Remember, it can only move in the L pattern, so it is going to end up at starting at A4. I'm going to move my horse to B2 to take your pawn. Alright, very good. Alright, I'll keep wandering around to see if anyone else needs some help. Darren and Tara, I can see you having fun with battleships there. How are we going when we're calling out our locations? It is arranged in a different one. Okay, I can see that's upset a few people in class. So, class, when we're talking about a grid, we do always read across the horizontal and then up the vertical. But I'm just going to get everyone to pause. Hands on top. Okay. Everyone. So, if you have a grid, and it might have, for example, it might be A, B, C, D, and it might also use A, B, C, D for both axes. That isn't actually a problem when it comes to grids because we can write it the same way. If we want to use this location, we would write that with the horizontal first, which is our C, comma, where else? What would we write next? That's right, B. Horizontal, that's right. And the next direction, vertical. Wonderful work. Hats on. Make sure you drink some water. It's hot out there today. And have a wonderful lunch class. Thank you.